introduce him to you all. Professor Stephen RATUVA is Director of the Macmillan Brown Center for Pacific Studies and Professor in the Department of Anthropology and Sociology at the University of Canterbury, New Zealand. And he is a recipient of the Fulbright Senior Scholar Award and was Fulbright Professor at the University of California, Duke University, and Georgetown University. He was also a recipient of the Royal Society of New Zealand's Marston Award, and he is chair of the International Political Science Association Research Committee on Conflict, Security, and Democratization, and former president of the Pacific Island Political Studies Association. He is a global interdisciplinary scholar with expertise and research interest in a variety of areas and has carried out research in Asia, Africa, US, Pacific, UK, and Europe. With a PhD from the Institute of Development Studies at the University of Sussex, he has published widely in the areas of development, conflict, political change, purpose, social protection, election, ethnicity, security, military affirmative action, gender, and nationalism. He is leader of an international research team of more than 100 social science experts commissioned by Palgrave Macmillan and Springer Publishers to put together the Global Handbook of Ethnicity. He also leads an international research team on civil-military relations and global security under the auspices of the International Political Science Association. He is also founder and editor-in-chief of the Pacific Dynamics Journal of Interdisciplinary Research, whose aim is to promote Asia-Pacific research and scholarship. Professor RATUVA has worked in a number of universities, including University of Sussex, University of the South Pacific, Australian National University, and University of Auckland. He was a visiting fellow at the University of New South Wales, National University of Taiwan, and other universities around the world. He has been consultant and advisor for international organizations such as UNDP, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, International Labour Organization, International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, British Council, and other organizations and governments. So this convey that Professor RATUVA is a very good profile and he should be having a lot of experiences and expertise to share with us. So Professor Stephen RATUVA, the session is over to you now. We are eagerly waiting to hear you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Professor Dara. Can you hear me? I'm not sure whether I'm still muted.
Yes, Professor, we can hear you perfectly.
Oh, well, thanks very much. Yeah. Yeah, welcome everybody. Greetings, kia ora. That's the greetings from New Zealand. It's almost 4 o'clock today here, 4 p.m. I'm supposed to have an appointment with my doctor at 4 p.m. but I have a very, very tight schedule, indeed. So because we had a slightly late start. So, but I'll try to be as compact, as short as possible because it's not me. I think it's the presenters who are more important in terms of finding a space for new knowledge from the research in the field throughout Asia and how we listen to those. So let me first of all acknowledge Isanka Gamage, who's the convener, and also the keynote speaker, Professor Deepak Kumar, and all the participants. Thank you so much for being here. It's been great meeting you virtually. In the virtual world, we're just images in our machine, in front of our machine, and hopefully there are human beings behind those images. And so it's great, particularly in these difficult times and dangerous times as well, when the pandemic has closed borders, has driven a lot of people out of work, has impacted on the economy, people's social life, on people's well-being, and people's health. So a lot of things have been disrupted, including our own program. One of the reasons why we're having a conference online because of the impact of COVID-19. Doesn't seem to be ending anywhere, seems to be growing all the time. Our country, New Zealand, has tried to arrest the increase, and now we've been having a zero in terms of community transmission, but people coming from overseas and who are quarantined at the hotels are the ones bringing those in. So yes, we have a long way to go. So and of course the theme, response to the pandemic, social protection, resilience, and community well-being is supposed to reflect on the experiences we are going through at the moment. Diverse experiences, terrible experiences, which have impacted on aspects of our lives. And it provides us the opportunity to rethink about the future, rethink about what economic system, what kind of health system that we need, what kind of human relationships are there, because a lot of the impact of COVID-19 have to do with human relationships in societies, which tend to have leaders who perhaps deny the existence of COVID-19, tend to be impacted more, and systems of responses are probably not as strong as others. So I think it's important that we have to rethink about the future. So it's critical for researchers like us to rethink all the time about some of the challenges that we face. And these challenges are going to come up all the time. And COVID, the pandemic is not new. It's been part of our history as human beings. They come and go. Looks like we haven't learned a lot since the big Spanish flu, and then you have the SARS, and then now it looks like we're still unprepared for it. So I think that's why it's important for us to really begin to look at how resilient we are in terms of responding to calamities, not only pandemics such as this, but also economic and political disruptions, which will impact on our cultures, impact on our relationships, impact on our institutions, impact on our own psychology and health. And these are serious times and serious issues which emerge and which need serious responses. So yes, COVID-19 has exacerbated inequality, and problems were already there, but these were made worse of distribution of resources, of lack of opportunities, which were basically just made much bare by COVID-19. And of course, social protection has been used in many communities. In some cases, states themselves have intervened and provided large-scale millions, in fact, billions of dollars worth of aid to businesses, but often this doesn't trickle down to grassroots communities. And the kind of economic system and ideologies that we have need to be relooked at as well in terms of that. So a lot of people, particularly in the global South countries, are resorting to what we know best, and that is our solidarity economies, which are based on kinship, based on production on land, subsistence, production of goods and services, and how the community comes together to look after each other. Because the neoliberal economy is very fragile. It comes and goes. When there's a little crisis, or as we now see a virus, it becomes, it basically collapses in various forms. So what is left really are people. And how do we develop the kind of resilience in terms of the solidarity economy? What kind of social protection system do we need to build as a way of responding, and to make sure that there's equity, there's diversity, that the system is people-based, there's empathy. As we all know, the dominant neoliberal ideology is not very empathetic. It's all to do with the market. How do we create a new system which is people-based, humanity-based? So those are the questions which are emerging now in the world as we face this crisis. And I'm sure that we have a lot of answers in the next few hours to respond to this. And I'm sure that our smart young minds, who are emerging scholars in our Asia Pacific region and other parts of the world, will begin to look at innovative, creative, and sustainable ways of thinking, of knowledge creation, to transform the world and transform society into something better. So I will end there because I don't want to take too much time, since I have to rush to the doctor. I'm looking at the clock, and I rang, see whether they can change the time. They said, no, you can't, because it's a very busy Friday evening in Christchurch, New Zealand. So with those words, I look forward to hearing more about what's happening in all the papers being presented, and some of the activities, and the program looks fantastic, looks brilliant. And thank you so much for the organizers for all the hard work put into it. And I wish the program a success, with the virtual conference a great success. And as we say also here in the Pacific, Modi. So have a nice weekend, everybody. I'm sorry I won't be able to be around because I have a very busy schedule. I have to rush to the doctor, and then after that I have another meeting. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
TIIKM, the International Institute of Knowledge Management.